The alarms hadn't started yet. That part came later, after Orion Vale swallowed. Inside Lab Block 7, the Crithus containment chamber hummed with sterile energy. White lights ran in perfect lines across the ceiling and reflected off polished metal floors. The atmosphere remained crisp, controlled, and immaculate, everything a xenobiology facility wanted to be. Within that precision floated objects no sane species would place within arm's reach, the infamous Crithus fruits. Their surfaces glowed like molten rubies, streaked with faint bioluminescent veins. Each one produced a soft aura that shifted between blue and violet as if containing trapped lightning. Every species in the galactic consortium had issued the same conclusion: one bite meant instant cellular unraveling. A catastrophic death. Nothing survived it. Nothing should survive it. Except, apparently, a distracted human. Orion didn't intend to eat it. That mattered very little to the aliens watching from behind reinforced glass. The human scientist lifted the fruit automatically while staring at a datapad full of enzyme readings. He barely noticed the weight in his hand. Vale, do not place unshielded organic matter near your warned and automated voice. Too late. A soft crunch echoed through the chamber. Every alien technician froze. Orion blinked. He blinked again. The datapad lowered. The fruit sat half-eaten in his hand, its interior glowing like a microstar. He swallowed. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then Iden Station exploded with sirens. A drilling klaxon reverberated across the lab block. Emergency shutters snapped downward. Containment fields flickered into place. The intercom repeated an override call in 6 languages. Within seconds, pounding footsteps approached, an entire medical unit charging toward the chamber as if chasing a bomb. The lead medic, a tall Arisian with pale blue skin, slammed a fist against the glass. Human. Remain immobile. Do not inhale. Do not exhale. Do not do anything. Orion stared, genuinely confused. Why? What happened? You consumed a Crithus pod, the medic shouted. Open the emergency air vent. Purge the toxins before your DNA liquefies. My DNA is fine, Orion said calmly. The medic's face twisted. It will not be. The chamber door hissed open as the medics forced their way inside. They carried injectors glowing with antidotal compounds so volatile they needed 2 containment fields. One medic nearly slipped on the polished floor in desperation. Where is the victim? He demanded. Orion raised his hand gently. Right here. The medics rushed forward. The Arisian grabbed Orion's face and forced his jaw downward with trembling hands. A beam scanner washed blue light across his teeth and tongue. The scanner chimed. The medic froze. There is no necrosis. Told you, Orion murmured. Another medic scanned Orion's pulse. A second checked for chemical residue. A third inspected the fruit still in Orion's hand. The readings defied their training. No hemorrhage, the first medic muttered. No degradation. No cell destruction. Nothing. He swallowed hard. Human, how do you feel? Hungry, Orion answered. A wave of horrified gasps rippled through the group. At that moment, Director Cyrix Vaughn stormed into the chamber. The Virati administrator towered over everyone with elongated limbs and obsidian-black eyes that reflected every light in the room. His arrival carried weight, the kind a predator possessed when entering a nest not meant to be disturbed. Explain, Cyrix demanded. His voice resonated like vibrating metal. The lead medic pointed at Orion. He consumed a full Crithus sample. Cyrix's head swiveled sharply. You ate the fruit engineered to annihilate molecular cohesion? It wasn't intentional, Orion replied. That does not improve the situation, Cyrix snapped. A panel behind them displayed a live feed of the toxin level within Orion's bloodstream. Instead of spiking, the levels oscillated before stabilizing. The waveform settled into a coherent pattern resembling controlled metabolic integration. The medics stared at the screen as if witnessing a star being born from nothing. Cyrix moved closer. His mandibles tightened. Human, describe any symptoms. A slight tingle, Orion said. Might be the citric acid. That is not citric acid. Syrinx barked. Orion offered a mild shrug. Either way, I'm okay. No human should survive that compound, a medic muttered. No species should. Orion shifted his gaze toward the fruit in his hand. Its surface shimmered with shifting colors. Well, he said thoughtfully, maybe humans react differently. Differently? Syrinx echoed. This is not different, this is impossible. The alarms continued thundering overhead, but no one moved to silence them. The shock rooted everyone on the spot. An entire block of highly trained specialists, frozen by a man who didn't look remotely ill. Orion set the fruit on a nearby tray. Look, I understand the concern. Let's run tests. Maybe I'm metabolizing the compound faster than expected. You should not be metabolizing it at all. Syrinx thundered. You should be disintegrating. Orion hesitated. Well, I'm not. Another medic scanned the fruit's interior. The bioreactive material inside had changed. The lethal compound was no longer pure, it had partially neutralized. As though Orion's enzymes had altered it simply by contact. The medic's hands trembled. Director, human physiology might be resisting the toxin. Syrinx went very still. His obsidian eyes shifted toward Orion, studying, calculating, alarmed. That cannot be made public, Syrinx murmured. If consortium officials hear this, they will demand human presence in every hazardous test. They will deploy humans as biological shields. That sounds unpleasant, Orion muttered. It would be catastrophic, Syrinx said. And the political consequences. Orion didn't hear the rest. He had reached for the fruit again. Vale, Syrinx warned, put that down. Orion inspected the glowing interior. This one is still reactive. Put it down, Syrinx repeated. I just want to check the core. The enzyme structure is. He took another bite. Every alien screamed simultaneously. The alarms flared louder. Syrinx's claws scraped the floor. Human. Are you trying to destroy this station? Orion wiped a bit of glowing juice from his lip. It's really not bad. The medics looked ready to faint. One whispered, he treats a death-grade toxin as a snack. Syrinx pointed toward the emergency bay. You. Containment. Now. Orion sighed. All right. Let's go. As they escorted him out, the director kept his glare locked onto the half-eaten fruit. No human should survive a single bite. Orion Vale had taken two. And the station had no protocol for what happened next. The containment ward of Iden Station rarely held human patients. Most species required delicate atmospheric conditions, biochemical stabilizers, or elaborate immune buffers. Humans, on the other hand, usually walked through the wing waving pleasantly at machines screaming about incompatible biomarkers. Today, those machines weren't just screaming, they sounded terrified. Orion sat on an examination platform while a semicircle of diagnostic arms hovered around him. The arms pulsed with blue scanning beams that cut across his skin in narrow sheets. Readouts flickered rapidly on nearby holopanels, each one trying to produce coherent data and failing. The chief medical officer, a thin-limbed Silurian named Dr. Fethrix, leaned close to one of the panels. This cannot be accurate. His cellular layers should be undergoing collapse. They're not, Orion replied. Fethrix exhaled sharply through a set of narrow gill slits. Human, I am reading compounds that would dissolve my species' skeletal structure. Good thing I don't have your skeleton, Orion said. A second panel updated, lines zigzagging as though the machine itself was panicking. Fethrix tapped the display. Your metabolic rate is rising, but nothing destabilizes. You are converting the toxin into something else. Is that bad? Orion asked. Unknown, Fethrix said gloomily. Before Orion could speak again, the ward door parted. Director Syrinx entered, posture rigid, mandibles held tight. Two administrative aides followed him, each carrying datapads full of emergency protocols. Their expressions showed a mixture of dread and frustration. Syrinx approached with controlled steps. Dr. Vale, you have created a station-wide crisis. I didn't mean to, Orion said. Intent is irrelevant, Syrinx replied. Consuming a Crithus pod, and then a second, constitutes reckless behavior of the highest category. Fethrix gestured toward the readings. Director, you should see this. The human is exhibiting a metabolic transformation beyond current xenobiological models. Syrinx scanned the panel. His eyes narrowed. What am I observing? Fethrix pointed at a waveform pulsing across the console. That is the Crithus toxin. It should remain structurally lethal. Instead, his physiology is neutralizing it instantly. Syrinx stepped closer. Neutralizing? No species neutralizes Crithus. Humans might, Fethrix said. At least this one. That is not an improvement, Syrinx muttered. Orion raised a hand. Director, I understand your concern. But maybe this is a breakthrough. If humans can process Crithus, we could. We are not testing your species' digestive resilience, Syrinx said sharply. We are preventing biological catastrophes. A low hum filled the room as another scanner activated. This one penetrated deeper, mapping Orion's internal chemistry. The projection displayed swirling currents of energy inside his bloodstream patterns that formed into structured loops. Fethrix stared in disbelief. Director, the toxin is reorganizing into a stable configuration. And the human's cells are shaping it. Syrinx's gaze snapped to Orion. Explain. I'm not doing anything, Orion said. My body just reacts like this sometimes. Humans adapt quickly. Syrinx gave a cold laugh. Adaptation does not account for this. This borders on biological heresy. Orion gestured toward the panels. But the results are real. Results, Syrinx echoed. Results that violate every known model. The consortium will demand explanations. They will question our protocols. They will question your presence on this station. A sudden spike flared across the main monitor. The safeguards beeped a warning. Fethrix leaned in again. Director, energy buildup is increasing around the stabilized compound. The reaction may soon produce an output. Output? Syrinx said. Of what nature? I cannot determine yet, Fethrix admitted. It may be harmless. It may not. Orion examined the glowing readout with growing curiosity. I feel fine. No pressure, no pain. That is irrelevant, Syrinx snapped. The station is detecting a bioreactive field radiating from your bloodstream. I thought the room felt brighter, Orion murmured. The lights above him flickered for a moment. A faint shimmer surrounded his body, barely visible unless one focused on the edges of the air. Fethrix stared. The human is emitting controlled bioluminescent energy. Orion blinked. Seriously? That's new. Syrinx turned to his aides. Prepare containment protocols. Alert Counselor Rowe that we require emergency oversight. Director, Orion began. No, Syrinx cut in. You have no idea what you carry now. It's just a metabolic effect, Orion said calmly. My immune system probably dismantled the harmful parts. You are not a containment specialist, Syrinx said. You are a walking unknown. Fethrix continued studying the displays, fascination overriding fear. Director, if we interpret the patterns correctly, the stabilized compound might possess regenerative potential. The structure is shifting in a way consistent with cellular repair mechanisms. Orion brightened. So it's beneficial? Possibly, Fethrix replied. Or it could destabilize under stress. Syrinx threw his hands up. Unacceptable. An alert tone sounded from the overhead speakers. A calm synthetic voice announced, biochemical emission detectable across the medical wing. Ambient threshold rising. Syrinx turned back toward Orion. Your internal reaction is no longer contained. I'm not doing it on purpose, Orion said. You must focus, Syrinx insisted. Humans possess limited control over adaptive responses, yes? We don't usually glow, Orion said. Then stop glowing, Syrinx ordered. I don't think it works like that, Orion replied. Fethrix watched Orion closely. He remains stable. His vitals are perfect. No sign of structural stress. The shimmer around Orion strengthened a thin halo of blue-white light. Syrinx backed away. He is escalating. No, I'm not, Orion said with irritation. I'm sitting here. A deep vibration spread through the floor, subtle at first, then stronger. Instruments rattled. Some medics clutched their equipment. Fethrix swore softly. Director, the toxin's reconfiguration is reaching a peak. The human is channeling the reaction into a concentrated form. Concentrated? Cyrix asked. To what end? We will know soon, Fethrix said nervously. The glow tightened into a confined aura around Orion's chest. The light pulsed in rhythmic waves, each one syncing with his heartbeat. The machines around him displayed synchronized patterns, as if responding to him. Orion watched the data calmly. Feels warm. Not painful. Cyrix's mandibles clicked rapidly. Enough. Move him to reinforcement chamber 4. We can't, Fethrix said. Any interruption now could disrupt integration. Meaning? Cyrix asked. Meaning we observe, Fethrix replied. Cyrix glared at Orion. You have made this station hostage to your biology. Orion exhaled slowly. Then let's figure out what's happening. A sudden pulse of light burst from his chest like a silent wave. Every monitor blinked, recalibrated, and displayed a new structure one Fethrix recognized instantly. He gasped. Director, look. The stabilized compound had completed its transformation. The lethal toxin was gone. In its place existed a structured biochemical lattice, an entirely new compound. Cyrix stared at the shimmering diagram. What is it? Fethrix swallowed. A regenerative catalyst. If this analysis holds, it can repair biological tissue at remarkable speed. Orion leaned back. So I didn't die. And I helped create medicine. Cyrix's voice dropped into a low growl. You consumed 2 lethal fruits and produced a miracle. Orion shrugged. You're welcome. Cyrix stepped back, overwhelmed. This is worse than I feared. Worse? Orion asked. Cyrix pointed at the glowing outline. The consortium will demand a demonstration. Orion raised a brow. Of what? Cyrix answered with dread. Of your ability to do it again. Containment Chamber 4 loomed like a vault carved into the heart of Iden Station. Reinforced alloy panels lined the walls, cross-hatched with energy conduits meant to restrain volatile reactions. The air carried a faint static charge, as if anticipating a catastrophe before it arrived. Orion Vale walked inside under the watchful eyes of security drones. The glow around him had dimmed but hadn't vanished. It hovered like a thin veil, reacting to even slight movements. He stepped onto a raised platform, the only structure in the room, while the drones sealed the entrance behind him. Director Cyrix stood outside the transparent barrier, rigid as stone. Remain still, he instructed. The station's systems require a stable reading. I've been still for 10 minutes, Orion said. Be still for 10 more, Cyrix replied. Dr. Fethrix appeared on the second observation tier, followed by a cluster of analysts. His attention remained glued to the monitors tracking Orion's internal shifts. Director, the reconfigured compound continues circulating. He is maintaining equilibrium. Too much equilibrium, Cyrix muttered. It suggests potential for escalation. Orion crossed his arms. I'm fine. That is not reassuring, Cyrix said. The barrier lights dimmed, and a crisp voice issued from the speakers. Containment field stable. Initiating advanced scan. Beams of translucent energy swept across Orion. The air vibrated. Each pass traced intricate patterns around his body, forming a network of glowing lines that hovered before dissolving. Orion watched the shapes appear and vanish as if he stood inside an evolving diagram. Fethrix examined the display. His body is altering microstructures of the compound in real time. The efficiency is increasing. Cyrix's gaze narrowed. Meaning? He is refining it, Fethrix said. As though he is optimizing a reaction pathway. Orion lifted an eyebrow. I didn't know I could do that. You should not be able to, Cyrix snapped. Another pulse rippled across the platform. The barrier flickered in response, absorbing the energy. Orion steadied himself as the resonance passed through his chest. Fethrix leaned over a console. Director, the emission spike is rising again. Syrinx stepped closer to the barrier. Human, describe everything you feel. Warm, Orion answered. Same as earlier. No pain. Warmth indicates an increase in internal reaction, Syrinx said. Focus on stability. Orion closed his eyes, breathing evenly. The glow around him tightened but remained controlled. The energy pulse calmed. Fethrix nodded. He is regulating it. Remarkable. Syrinx frowned. That should alarm you, not impress you. It is both, Fethrix admitted. The monitors suddenly lit with warning notices. A sharp tone filled the chamber. The analysts stiffened. What now? Syrinx demanded. Fethrix scanned the readouts. The toxin derivative is reaching a critical convergence point. If it completes the cycle, the human may release a larger emission. Syrinx pivoted back toward Orion. Can you suppress it? I don't know, Orion said honestly. It's happening on its own. Then we prepare for worst-case outcomes, Syrinx said. A reinforced shielding layer unfolded from the ceiling, encasing the barrier in a secondary grid. The drones adjusted their positions, ready to intervene if necessary, even though none of their systems could restrain a biological event of unknown magnitude. Orion watched them reposition. You really think I'm going to blow up? I think you are unpredictable, Syrinx replied. And unpredictability is dangerous. Humans aren't that extreme, Orion said. You consumed 2 Crithus fruits, Syrinx countered. Your species is undeniably extreme. The glowing pattern inside Orion surged again. This time, the pulse extended outward in a tight ring, racing along the containment floor before dissipating. The lights along the chamber's lower edge responded immediately, shifting into a deep amber hue. Fethrix examined the new data. Director, the compound is no longer passive. It is transitioning. Transitioning into what? Syrinx asked sharply. A catalytic state, Fethrix replied. It may soon convert stored toxins into something else entirely. Orion rubbed the back of his neck. Do we know if that's good? We do not, Syrinx said. Orion let out a patient sigh. All right. Let's ride it out. No one liked that response, but no one had an alternative. Moments passed in tense silence. Then Orion's posture shifted slightly. A faint tremor ran through his fingers. He steadied them, but the analysts noticed. Fethrix's voice tightened. Director, the reaction is approaching peak intensity. Brace the barriers, Syrinx ordered. The shields strengthened. The chamber filled with a low hum, an anticipatory warning that something powerful was building inside the human on the platform. Orion inhaled deeply. The glow brightened, outlining his frame with stark clarity. Every heartbeat generated a ripple of energy. The air shimmered like heat rising from a desert floor. It's getting stronger, Orion said quietly. Maintain control, Syrinx urged. I'm trying. A blinding flash erupted, not explosive, but luminous. The entire chamber bathed in white-blue radiance. Analysts shielded their eyes. The platform vibrated. Energy curled upward like a column of light rising from Orion's chest. For one breathless moment, the reaction seemed ready to burst. Then it collapsed inward. The chamber went silent. All readings stabilized. The glow faded. Orion opened his eyes slowly. I think it finished. Fethrix hurried to analyze the updated data. His gills fluttered as he read through the results. Director, the catalytic product is complete. Syrinx approached the console. Show me. The projection displayed a lattice-like biochemical structure, refined, coherent, and unlike any known compound. Fethrix pointed at the diagram. This structure neutralizes volatile agents by reorganizing harmful molecules into stable forms. It could purify toxins, restore damaged tissues, even counteract degenerative conditions. Orion blinked. So it's actually useful. It is extraordinary, Fethrix said. The reaction that occurred inside you produced a compound with unprecedented therapeutic potential. Syrinx's expression darkened. Therapeutic potential is not our immediate issue. Orion crossed his arms. Then what is? The consortium, Cyrix answered. They are already demanding a demonstration of your abilities. They want proof that humans can replicate this. A drone transmitted a message to the observation deck. The display flickered, showing a new directive. Mandatory human participation in controlled Crithus testing. Council order. Orion stared at the message. They want me to eat another one. Yes, Cyrix said grimly. They want confirmation. Fethrix added, they want to understand your physiology for future medical advancements. Cyrix turned toward Orion, expression strained. But they will not stop at one demonstration. They will escalate. They will push your limits. Orion considered this quietly. If this compound can help species who rely on us, isn't that good? Cyrix's mandibles clicked harshly. Not at the cost of your safety. Orion met his gaze. I think I can handle it. Humans always believe they can handle things, Cyrix said. Until the consequences manifest. Orion lifted a brow. Are you saying no? I am saying, Cyrix replied, that the next test may determine the fate of this station. The chamber fell silent again. Orion stepped off the platform, the last remnants of glow fading. Then let's do it. One more fruit. Controlled conditions. Cyrix closed his eyes briefly, resigned. Very well. As Orion walked toward the exit, a faint pulse echoed behind him, evidence of the catalytic compound still running through his system. The human was stabilizing a toxin meant to kill entire species. And now the galaxy wanted to watch him do it again. The consortium observation hall had never hosted anything like this. Rows of elevated platforms encircled a central chamber built entirely of reinforced crystalline alloy. Dozens of species filled the tiers, each representative summoned to witness a demonstration no policy manual had ever anticipated. At the center of the chamber stood Orion Vale. He wore a simple medstation uniform. No armor. No shielding. Nothing resembling the elaborate protections every other species in the room relied on when dealing with hazardous compounds. His posture remained relaxed, hands at his sides, eyes steady. Director Cyrix waited beside him, tense as a pulled cable. You understand the extent of this display? Yes, Orion said calmly. This is no trivial matter. A miscalculation may compromise the station. I'm aware, Orion replied. Cyrix hesitated. You can still refuse. Orion shook his head. If this compound can help people, then we need answers. And I'm the only one who can provide them. The director stepped back, resignation settling across his features. Proceed. But do not assume I approve. The chamber lights dimmed as a containment pedestal rose from the floor. On it rested a fresh Crithus fruit, more luminous than the previous ones. Its core burned with swirling violet streaks that crackled softly, as if aware of its own danger. A voice from the gallery, belonging to Councillor Rowe, carried through the speakers. Human Orion Vale. You stand here to demonstrate your species' extraordinary resistance to the Crithus compound. Do you accept this responsibility? I do, Orion said. Then begin. Orion approached the pedestal. The fruit's glow intensified, casting prismatic patterns across the chamber walls. Every representative leaned forward, breath held, waiting for humanity to either defy every law of xenobiology or to fall victim to them. Orion lifted the fruit. For a brief moment, nothing moved. The galaxy held still. Then he bit into the core. A soft crunch echoed in the silence. The pulp ignited in radiant blue light that spilled across his mouth like liquid energy. He swallowed without hesitation. The chamber erupted in overlapping murmurs, shock from some, fascination from others, horror from a few. Instruments embedded in the walls activated immediately, mapping every shift within Orion's body. A web of holographic projections displayed internal changes, metabolic surges, energy currents, cellular responses. Cyrix stiffened. Focus, human. Maintain control. Orion nodded, hands steady at his sides. I'm doing fine. The fruit's compounds entered his bloodstream. Numbers climbed rapidly across the holographic displays. Readings surpassed the thresholds recorded in the previous tests. Energy signatures coiled inside his chest, gathering velocity. Fethrix observed from the upper tier. Director, this reaction is stronger than before. I can see that, Syrinx replied. Another surge flashed through Orion's body, brighter than the last. The glow crawled up his arms, spread across his shoulders, and concentrated at his sternum. The light refracted, forming a tight sphere pulsing beneath his skin. For the first time that morning, Orion inhaled with more effort. Syrinx's tone sharpened. Report. Still stable, Orion said through an exhale. Just, intense. The sphere brightened again, throwing a sharp outline across the chamber floor. Counselor Rowe leaned toward the microphone. Is this reaction expected? No, Syrinx answered, but it remains contained. Orion closed his eyes. His pulse aligned with the glow, rhythm syncing perfectly. The compound organized itself within him, forming coherent structures faster than the machines could track. The catalytic lattice constructed itself again, but with greater precision. The holographic projections updated continuously, attempting to keep pace. Fethrix sounded amazed. Director, the strengthened lattice is producing a new cascade of molecular byproducts. This is not merely regenerative. It possesses broader applications. Applications can wait, Syrinx said. The human's survival is priority. A final pulse surged outward. The sphere collapsed inward and dissolved. The glow faded completely. Orion opened his eyes. The chamber stood silent. Rowe spoke first. Human, can you confirm your condition? Stable, Orion replied. No pain. Reaction completed. Syrinx hurried to the console. The monitors displayed calm, structured waveforms, proof the catalyst had formed successfully and settled into equilibrium. Fethrix turned to the council. The human's biology has once again neutralized the Crithus toxin and refined the compound into a stable, beneficial state. This confirms the initial results. Rowe addressed the assembly. Representatives, we are witnessing a biological capacity unique to humans. Their adaptive potential surpasses our models by unprecedented margins. A buzz swept through the gallery. Some species whispered in awe. Others argued in hushed concern. And a few watched Orion with a new kind of fear. Syrinx touched the barrier control and stepped into the chamber. Orion Vale, you have completed the demonstration. Your contribution to consortium science is undeniable. Orion smiled slightly. Thank you, Director. Though I know you hate this. I despise every moment, Syrinx admitted. But results are results. Fethrix approached with a datapad. Director, the catalytic compound's properties have broadened. It now displays effects consistent with antidegenerative therapy. With further refinement, it might counteract entire categories of terminal syndromes. Syrinx's expression shifted from restraint to contemplation. That extensive? Yes, Fethrix said. This discovery will reshape medical science across the consortium. Counselor Rowe descended to the chamber floor. Human Vale, the consortium acknowledges your exceptional service. Your physiology grants humanity a new role in xenobiological research. Syrinx cut in before Rowe could continue. However, the human cannot be subjected to unlimited trials. Protocols must protect him. I will not let this station become a proving ground for reckless experiments. Rowe regarded Syrinx with mild amusement. Your concern is admirable, Director. But the human adapts faster than our instruments can respond. He is still human, Syrinx insisted. Not an infinite resource. Orion interrupted gently. Director, it's fine. If this can save lives, it's worth it. But you're right. This needs structure, not chaos. Rowe nodded approvingly. A balanced approach, then. Effective immediately, a new research division will be established, adaptive xenobiology. Human leadership is mandatory. Syrinx blinked. You intend to place the human in charge? Rowe offered a diplomatic smile. Who else understands the process from within? Orion's eyebrows rose. Wait, me? You demonstrated resilience, discipline, and unparalleled adaptability, Rowe said. You will oversee controlled applications of the compound. Director Cyrix will supervise safety governance. Cyrix sighed. At least I can prevent catastrophic decisions. Orion grinned. We'll make a good team. That remains to be seen, Cyrix muttered. The chamber lights brightened as the demonstration concluded. Representatives filed out, murmuring about the implications. Fethrix lingered long enough to give Orion a proud nod before departing. Cyrix walked beside Orion toward the exit corridor. You have changed everything on this station. I didn't plan to, Orion said. I really just wanted to analyze the fruit. Humans, Cyrix whispered. Disaster and ingenuity in equal measure. Before leaving the chamber, Orion paused at the pedestal. A technician approached with hesitation, holding a sealed containment case. Inside lay another Crithus fruit. The technician spoke softly. For future study, sir. Orion smiled. Not today. One demonstration is enough. Cyrix exhaled in relief. Thank every star in the void. Orion gave a playful shrug. But eventually. No, Cyrix said quickly. Absolutely not. Orion laughed. Relax, Director. I'm kidding. Cyrix eyed him warily. I am not convinced humans know what that word truly means. They stepped into the corridor, leaving the chamber of impossible miracles behind. Humanity had just redefined its place in the galaxy. And all it took was eating a fruit that should have killed him twice.